What's up, Nitro Nation? YouTubers, oldies but goodies, middies, you know, late 20s, 30s, and newbies. Welcome to the Nitro, or should I say another saga of the angry Muggy Maniac. I'm just playing. I'm not angry. So, what is the Muggy Maniac up to? Well, let me see if I can educate some people. Who knows, I might piss somebody else off again. Maybe somebody might unsubscribe to me or whatever. You know, it seems like somebody subscribes and then somebody unsubscribes. You know, I really don't care. Again, like I said, the Muggy Maniac does not do this channel to stroke anybody's ego, blow smoke up anybody's ass, to just talk a bunch of shit. You know, I try to go by, I do go by the facts, okay? Is the Muggy Maniac wrong sometimes? I'm wrong all the time, you know? But, you know, I just keep it real, okay? Maybe I should change my channel, and maybe I should, instead of the Muggy Maniac, maybe we should call this the, you know, Muggy Reality Show. Because I'm just keeping it real, man. If you don't like it, then, and you don't like my cussing, you don't like, because I talk shit about Traxxas, because I can't stand Traxxas, garbage, and Horizon, and you know, so forth, then go someplace else. I could care less. I'm not here to try to convert nobody from, you know, E-word into Nitro. Would that be cool? Sure. But it's not my job to convert nobody. I'm not, on my job, or it's not even a job, okay? Some people, I guess it is a job or a career. They're trying to get that YouTube check. Again, excuse my language, I don't give a fuck, okay? I have a passion, and I have, you know, my heart and soul, I would like to think, in this hobby of 8-scale Nitro. Or I wouldn't have spent all this money, or I wouldn't be doing it. I don't just do it because there's nothing else to do. I can think of a lot of other hobbies, and I have other hobbies too. You know, dirt bike riding, mountain bike riding. You know, I like hunting. I like guns too. You know what I'm saying? But this is something that I always wanted to get into because it fits the way that I am. OCD. Detail orientated, very meticulous. You know, I pay attention to detail. If you are in the Nitro, if you want to get into Nitro, or if you're in Nitro, and this is, you know, this, like I said, this can apply to anybody. If it doesn't apply, like I said again, let it fly. But if the shoe fits, wear that shit. Own up, man up, they say. You know what I'm saying? You know, be a man about it. This is a hobby that takes work, okay? Nothing's gonna come to you, and I don't know, maybe that's the way my old man raised me, you know. Everybody does electric because it's easy. I don't care what you tell me, okay? People don't just, you know, the easier it is to do, there's no really payoff. And that pertains to, well, let me back up a minute. Not everybody, okay? I don't want to, you know, that's a pretty strong word, everybody. I'll just say the percentage of people do E-word because it's, you know, it's RC, truggies, buggies, monster trucks, whatever, and it's easy. Anybody can do it. I can build an E-word platform with a Coke can size motor and frickin' a lipo the size of a fucking, excuse me in language again, brick, and in a week, and spank anybody's ass, for the most part. Because I know how to drive. Okay, I'm not a professional driver, but I can drive, you know, and spank that ass. But I guarantee you, and that's why we're the minority, 8-scale Nitro. Because not everybody can do Nitro. Not everybody can tune one of these motors. Not everybody can do the necessary upkeep and the wrenching and the maintenance that comes with it. I mean, you know, this is basically a scaled version of you, if you want to do it the right way, learning how to become a I don't know, junior mechanic, you might say, or a professional mechanic. What does it entail of a professional, either, we'll just say a backyard mechanic, let alone next level professional mechanic, like for NASCAR or for the NHRA, I mean the NHRA, NHRA, National Hot Rod Association, or you know, the AMA Supercross, or any mechanics that wrench on racing shit. Okay, a lot of work, a lot of elbow grease, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of tuning, a lot of troubleshooting, a lot of successes, a lot of everything. Being that said, that's why a lot of people don't do HCl nitro. They can't do that. Not everybody can just do nitro, or everybody be doing it. Everybody can do E-word. That's why everybody is doing E-word. It's easier. You don't need to do a lot. You plug it. You charge your shit up. You know. There's some. You know, I don't want to say sick E-words out there, and they're fast. And people, you know, like a kid asked me at one time. I was at the park running my shit. He said, "Hey, what kind of RC is that, or what kind of truck is that?" Or I said, "You know what kind? It's a badass one. That's what kind." That's all I said. He didn't say nothing, and he, you know, kept walking by. It's a badass one. That's what kind it is. Okay, 'cause it doesn't matter, you know. But people, oh, what kind is it? Oh, well, how fast does it go? Who cares? Does it rip when it's supposed to rip? Does it tune easily? Is it, you know, always, I mean, not always, but I should say, but, I mean, when you run your shit, you have little issues, you have a lot of issues, you're always shit breaking down. Is your shit always breaking? Is your, basically you're a race mechanic, are you in your world winning on race day, or you're losing, which means you're blowing up motors, you're stripping out fucking gearboxes, you know, you're you know, always, you know, having to fix something because you can't take care of your shit because you don't know what the hell you're doing, man. You know what I mean? Learn. This is what it's about, people, you know. And I don't want to turn this video into, you know, again, somebody say, oh, you're on some kind of rampage. No, I just don't like the fact that too many people stick their nose or try to add their 2 cents into something that they're not even doing anything themselves, you know. Like I said, if you're going to talk about it, be about it. You know, don't come to my channel, you know, talking your shit, and you're running some Traxxas or some Tamiya bullshit or some, you know, some run-of-the-mill shit. Okay? Is my shit all the best shit in the world? Hell no. You know? But I like to think that the hard work that I put into it makes my vehicles what they are. Okay? Your vehicle is a direct reflection of you. So if it's a piece of shit and it's always breaking down, it always is dirty, it always looks like hell, I mean, it's never maintained and cleaned and taken care of, it doesn't look like a well-oiled machine, chances are that's because that's you. That's your personality. So don't blame the vehicles. Don't blame nitro. Oh, well, you know, nitro, you can't, you know, oh man, it's too much of a pain in the ass to tune the motors. Or, oh, nitro is too expensive. Yeah, I hear all that bullshit. Save that shit. Sell that to somebody else, because I ain't buying it. Anyway, I had to get that off my chest. You know, and the most important thing to me is trying to not only share with people the passion and the love that I have for this hobby, but to help people out. If somebody ever asks me for help, something that I can help them with, I'll help them, no problem. You know, if I can't help you, I'll direct you to where you get the help. You know, I have people ask me, hey, can you give me Rick's address? You know, I didn't say no, well, look it up yourself. You know, I'm not that type of guy, okay? I mean, regardless of what it sounds like, how, you know, that I'm a hater, or, you know, that whatever, you know, I'm not. I'm keeping it real, 100%. This is the reality Nitro Cave, okay? You don't like my shit, you don't like what I say, then tune out. Unsubscribe. I don't really care. If I could help one person, that's all that matters to me. If I can help one newbie stick with Nitro, you know, because I helped them, whatever, that's all that matters. You know, I'm not trying to please everybody, because you can't. If you try to do that, man, you're going to be a wreck. And there's lots of guys on these channels that are like that. Let me try to convert E words into nitro. I don't give a fuck. Excuse my language again. You know, chances are, if you try to convert somebody that's already used to one thing, or already decided one thing, he's not going to stick around anyway. He's going to run into issues, and he's going to bail out like they all do. All the E-word guys that try to do this. Because if they could do it, they'd be doing it in the first place. They've already decided, you know what? Too much work. Let me get an E-word. That's a fact. Okay? So tell me what you want. Say what you want. That is what it is. So anyway, let me not turn this into a huge rampage again, you know, because the Muggy Maniac, you know, I'm going to tell you right now, don't be coming up and talking shit, because I'm going to talk shit too. Why? Because I can. That's why. This is my channel. If you don't like it, unsubscribe. Okay? I'm trying to help people out. I'm trying to keep it pure and clear and clean, as far as, you know, this is what Nitro is about. Doesn't have to be, and all of the negatives that I hear about it, I'm trying to not deflect all those things. I'm trying to address them and say, listen, this is what I do. This is what works for me. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you, but this is what works for me. You know what I mean? So, that's all. Okay? I've been around and doing this, you know, RC and stuff for, you know, longer than most people on my channel have even been alive. 35 plus years now. And I've seen it all come and go. I'm still here. I've seen guys that used to be here when I got on YouTube, what, 2-3 years ago or whatever it was, that aren't even around. And I want to give one quick shout out to a guy recently that I gave this guy a hard time too, because me and him went at it for a while, and he talked some shit, I talked some shit, and I unsubscribed, and that was that. Chris Everyday RC. Guy obviously was going through some changes in his life, okay. I still think he's an entertaining guy. He just wants to entertain people. But you know what? The guy finally let down the wall or whatever and said it what it was and what it is. You know, he really loves RC, E-word, Nitro, fifth scale. You know, he likes a little bit of everything. Okay, I call him the hybrids. Yeah, whatever floats his boat. But I give the guy credit, because the guy took a hiatus for like man, it's probably been a year. He's back, and the first thing he does when he gets back, you know what he does? He does a video on how to rebuild serious gearhead wrenching shit, a stock 5th scale 5T low-C motor, 2-cycle motor, and he's doing the series right now. Kudos to you, Chris. Give the guy a thumbs up on that, man. I haven't seen that from that guy the whole other times that I've seen him do shit. Take a hiatus, like I said, comes back with a new passion, and let me, you know, he really loves his 5T, okay, which I didn't know, because he just was all over the place sometimes. And he also is, and hopefully I get to see this, he's gonna run that badass little 8, that 8.0, or that 8 low-C 8 4.0, sick ass paint job on it, by the way, custom paint job. Low-C Truggy, that he's got the LRP .32 in it. I would hope he modifies that thing, because he hasn't even fired it up. It hasn't even been broken in. Shelf queen for a year. Shelf bitch. But he said he's going to run it. We'll see. Talks cheap. But he is, like I said, doing a rebuild and tearing apart hands-on shit on a 5th scale 2-stroke low-C motor. So, shout out to you, Chris. Props, man. That's what I'm talking about. That's the type of shit I'm talking about, okay? Get your hand, roll up your sleeves, okay? See? I got my sleeves rolled up. And get dirty, okay? So the Muggy Maniac, I don't want to take, like I said, let me turn this into a huge, you know, venting video, but it needs to be said, you know, people need to know where the Muggy Maniac stands. You know, I'm pretty cool, I like to think, and I like to help people, man, that's all. I just don't like people saying one thing, saying another, people that are selling out to YouTube, all the flashy music and fancy videos and smoke and mirrors, you know, to entertain. I don't do, like I said again, I'm not doing this to entertain nobody. I'm doing this to try to share with you, let you inside my freaking bedroom, my room in my house that I turned into a freaking nitro cave. Okay? So anyway, the Muggy. This video I'm gonna show you what the issue was, okay, instead of thinking, you know, a lot of times when I get issues, I just fix them and then, okay, it's done. Let me show you the running video. You know, again, see, I can get caught up in the shit too. Let me entertain people. They just want to see your shit run. You know, I have people, well, I can't wait to see the Muggy, you know, your Muggy run or whatever, or blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what, why I'm addressing issues, let me try to, you know, help people out so they don't have to go through the same shit, you know. This XTM Mammoth, again, this thing is 2005, so this thing is 13, 14 years old now. Parts are very hard to get. I just happened to come across a lot of the monster truck version of this, which has a lot of similar parts. Not everything, but most. So I have a whole nother platform that I can build a monster truck of the XTM. Matter of fact, here, hold on a minute. I think, here, I'll show you. I know it's down here. Well, here's what the chassis looks like anyway. This is a big ass. You think mine's big? Look at this thing. Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit wider, but brand new. This thing is brand new. 70, 75 aluminum. Shit, mine on here is 60, 61. They make a 70, 75 for the ST. It's like 80 bucks. I'm thinking of getting it. It's about time, you know. I'm not selling this thing. It's my first vehicle as far as nitro that I ever bought. Originally they're RTRs. They're not kits. So it was my first learner. Came with a 24.7, basically a .25 motor, which I still have. That one right there, not that little one. That's an XTM .18, which I'll probably never use. That's never even been ran. Brand new. But this is the one I had. Blew that one up. Trial and error, baby. Trial and error. If you want to run lean, go ahead, man. I'll tell you what happens. Throw a rod right through the side. Anyway, yeah, so I got a lot, and I got a lot of parts. So I've got extra tranny, or extra diffs, which are the same. So I've got a whole nother set. So the issue that I had was the diffs. Okay, the front, it was the front. We're good to go now. I said, you know what, since I'm going through and dealing with addressing the issues that I have, I want to explain, and that's why it's so important, man. When something goes wrong, you need to troubleshoot it. Get good at troubleshooting. Otherwise, you're going to continue to have the same problem. Again, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. You're crazy. It's not going to happen, okay? You can run into the wall as many times you want. It's not going to move. It's still staying there. It's not going to change, okay? So anyway, the problem that was in the front diff, okay? Now, I'll show you what an XTM Mammoth looks like. This is the diff, this is the rear end. Okay, I wanted to shim the rear end because the rear end, you know, when you turn, this is the diff. It's actually inside here. This is the case that it's in. Kind of a crazy setup. This isn't, keep in mind, this isn't your standard setup. So this might, I mean, I'm going to go over a couple things that will apply in general. But this, unless you have an XTM Mammoth, it's a whole different, very unique platform. Is it like a great platform? No. Losi's probably, I mean, the Losi Muggies are better quality than this thing. But I will tell you, this thing is a pretty durable machine. Okay, and I've bashed the shit out of this thing. It's 13 years old and it's still going. And I have replaced a lot of things, but I have very, very, very rarely, I think maybe one arm, replaced any plastics. And I've tossed this thing all over the place, ran it into walls, took out freaking sprinklers and shit, you know, hit curbs, I mean, you name it. and I've only broke one A-arm on the bottom. And, you know, another quick note, if you're going to run aluminum A-arms, keep in mind, when you do that, you're more probable, if you do have an accident, you will rip out your gearbox, or you will bend your hinge pins. Now, arms aren't too expensive depending on the platform you have. I'd rather break an arm than bend a hinge pin. Hinge pins can be pricey, and I sure in the hell don't want to tear up my gearbox. Because you're strengthening the arms, so the arms are going to give. Something's got to give when you crash. I see a lot of guys run vehicles and they run aluminum arms on them because they're stronger. Yeah, they're stronger, but they're not much. If you have good plastic, they're not much stronger than plastic, depending on what it is. Well, I shouldn't say that. Aluminum is a lot stronger than plastic, okay? But just keep that in mind, okay? You think because it's stronger that that's going to be better, it's not going to break. Well, guess what? That arm won't give, but you're going to bend your hinge pins, and you will eventually damage your gearbox. And then you got a whole nother can of worms you opened up and a lot more wrenching. I'd rather break arms because they're not that expensive, okay, depending on what platform you got, than bend titanium. I mean, you won't bend titanium, but bend hinge pins or break gearboxes. Bust gearboxes out, because I've done that, been there, done that, seen it happen. That's why I won't run aluminum arms. I thought about it because they make it for the Muggy too. I mean, for the Muggy. They make them for this XTM. They make all aluminum top, rear. I might get the hub carriers, aluminum. Those are pretty sick. I have ones in the ones I have are in the rear. These aren't aluminum, but I mean the spindles are. If you look at the spindles, these are the spindles. They're aluminum, but they make this piece here aluminum, like blue anodized aluminum. It's pretty badass. 70-75. I mean, a lot of this vehicle has 70-75 aluminum upgrades, but I've never bent the 60-61 yet. Keep in mind, monster trucks, Muggies, they weigh a lot more. This thing weighs in, I think stock, it's like 11 pounds out of the box, but since I put steel gears in it, it's probably another pound. It's probably, you know, give and take. It's still around 11 pounds. I've lightened it, put other stuff on it that are stronger, a little bit more weight, but, you know, I would just say on average this thing's at least 10 or 11 pounds. That's like 4 pounds heavier than my Muggy Truggy MBXT-R race Truggy and my Techno. And even that little fat pig, that little fat Muggy thing, that thing weighs a lot for a buggy. But it's solid, it's a tank. So anyway, I took this apart, the gearbox, and I noticed in the rear one that this was not running, it should turn nice and smooth. You shouldn't have any kind of grinding, or you shouldn't have any kind of, you know, where it feels real rough. If you do, chances are you need to shim. Sometimes over time when your diffs wear, you got to shim them. So you got to just kind of mess around with the shims. That's a whole nother video. I won't really get into shimming, but this one here I had to shim. Now it's perfect, it's fine. I just went ahead and split the diffs. I run 50,000 weight in the front and rear of this thing. So I went and changed the diff oil. I just basically tore down the Muggy and rebuilt it. The only thing I haven't went over yet is my shocks. By the way, these shocks, I measured them, they're 18.5 millimeter. Truggies like Muggins, Techno, Locy's, 16 millimeter. These are freaking 18.5, almost 19. These are some big ass badass shocks. They weren't cheap. They were kind of pricey. But anyway, compared to what I had on before, like I think I had, here's the ones I had on there before. Here, I'll show you the original. Here, we'll do some comparison real quick. These are old school Muggins. These are 15 millimeters. There's a 15 millimeter shock. These are about the same, maybe a little smaller. Probably a 14 millimeter. These came on the Muggy. Okay? And look at these. Huge difference. You guys see that? Focus. Big ass shock. So anyway, what I always do when I check my shocks, I set my rebounding so when I'm done, when I push it down on the way and let it go, I want it to rebound the front quarter of the way, or no, the rear quarter the front half. I've always used that ever since I learned that from Ryan Letts, you know, which obviously he races techno. That's the way he sets up his shocks. He has a video if you guys want to look it up. It's pretty simple. I like the way he does that. He says because the rear that has most of the weight, you don't want a lot of the rebound. You want the shock to stiffen up, harden as it compresses because of the weight. And the front, you don't want as much because there's not as much weight. So you want it to come out half. That's how he does it. Some other guys do it, but anyway. So tear that apart. This is all ready to go back together. Now I will show you what the issue was, and then I'm going to cut out because I got to do a lot of wrenching. I just wanted to kind of share with you guys and update you what's going on with the Muggy. I wanted to run it yesterday, but when I started wrenching and it's finding out, and when I opened up this diff and just, you know, when I really started tearing it apart, even though I've only ran it a couple times and it, you know, wasn't real dirty, and I did a really thorough surface clean, man, it doesn't matter, man. Like I said, if you clean the Boda way, if you use the water thing or whatever, every 3 runs I suggest, that's, you know, depending on how much you run, that's a good amount of bash. 3 bash sessions, tear your shit down. Do yourself a favor. Do your vehicle a favor. Do your platform. If you really want it to last, and you really want it to perform, and you especially if you spend a lot of money, if you're going to spend a lot of money on a platform, you know, you just got to do this unless you just want to throw away money. If you got all the money coming out your ass and, you know, your daddy Warbucks and money's not an issue, then disregard whatever I tell you on my videos. Matter of fact, like I said, you can just, when I go over shit like this, just disregard it, because this is for people that don't want to spend money that's unnecessary to spend. But anyway, in these, I have 2 extra diffs. This one here doesn't have anything in it, but everything's in here. This is what the diff looks like on an XTM Mammoth, okay? Now what had happened is, and this is what the whole problem was, because remember, let me back up. Last time I run the Muggy with a modified 28.8 Rex Legend, I thought something happened, like I stripped the gear or tore up my gearbox, because I've always said that this is the weak link in. Now they make aluminum ones, which I'm looking at. They're expensive, they're not cheap, but I can get aluminum ones which will replace these plastics, and the gearbox aluminum too, because if you look at, you know, most gearboxes are plastic. I haven't ever had a problem with these gearboxes, but I can see where there's already starting. I don't even know if you guys can see in there. Let me get you focused. Focus. If you look right up in, can you guys see? See the top part right there, where it's kind of bending a little bit. That top part of the inner, yeah. So I mean, it's this. I have extra ones. I need to change them too. I have a lot of extra parts. I haven't have to build a whole nother XTM. It is a smart thing to do. I've heard people say that, you know, when you get a platform, try to get as many spare parts as you can, because that's where the money is a lot of times. Extra shit, spare everything. I try to get as, when I got my Mugen Truggy, my MBX 7 TR Truggy, and I got my Techno, and I got my well, no, did I get anything? No, I didn't. When I got those 2 Truggies, I got it for a good price, but I also made sure that I got the price that I wanted, I thought was fair, for a used, even in great shape, but I wanted all the extras, because there was a lot of people that just have the truck for the same price, but no extra parts. That's not smart to do, especially on an older vehicle. So, and there's a lot of people out there that are selling Truggies, Buggies, Muggies, whatever, with a lot of spare shit. That's, if you're smart, what you want to get. So anyway, I have extras of a lot of XTM stuff, and I have an extra of pretty much everything I own now. But, I mean, look. This is half the shit my Mugens came with. I don't know, can you guys see that? Light mess you up. See that? There's all the extra XTM, and I've got boxes of more. And I've got boxes of techno shit. I gotta come up with some kind of, I think, that I'm going to put up some kind of pegboard, another pegboard somewhere. I might replace this one and just get a long one all the way across here because I have room. Mount it into the studs of the wall. Hang all my shit there. This one's just, you know, it's small. But, you know, look at all my Muggy parts. I've got tons of them. Brand new shit that I haven't even opened up. But anyway, I've got extra conical gears. Beveled. These are the inner drives. So what happened is, Muggy Maniac's rambling again. Inside of the XTM diffs, unlike a regular diff, let me see if I can get you guys in there. There we go. See in there? This thing here, I'll show you, I'll put it in. It has a gasket that goes down in there like that. Now if you can see that gasket, see the pieces missing? Yeah, well, this gasket broke out. The torque, you know, from that modified Novarossi 28.8 Rex Legend in the Muggy, the gearbox is just wasn't having it. Just like the Novarossi has wreaked more havoc in my XTM than anything. It just wasn't built for big modified motors, man. I mean, you know, you have to. I mean, the gearboxes are so important, man. If your gearbox is weak, then you will have issues when you start running bigger motors. If you keep it just a .21, you don't have any issues, even if it's shitty quality. You should be okay. So anyway, that was the dealio on that thing. There was pieces all in there, and what happened is when this thing broke and the pieces, one of the pieces got lodged, and this is the inner drive that goes on the inside of, actually it goes, this goes here. This is the piece that goes inside of, where the hell is it at? It's inside here. See, this is the center diff outer drive. These are the pinion drives over here. This is what drives your axles here, these two. This is what drives your center dog bone drive shaft. That gear that I just showed you, it's inside of here. And what that does is this baby here turns on this. Well, when this thing broke and the pieces came out, there was a couple pieces that were actually lodged in the teeth in here. So when all that binding happened, that's what caused my rear outer drive to just, I guess I didn't Loctite it or tighten it good enough, and it just caused it to come loose. And that's where on that video, when I was running you know, still breaking in the 28.8, I thought something was wrong. What was happening, it was just spinning. This wasn't even connected on one side. And it was because of that shit inside of the diff. So, anyway, I replaced it. I have extra ones. I'm going to try to see, I'm going to probably try to get the aluminum ones. They're not cheap. But I mean, if you know, I need to replay. I have extra ones. I have 2 extra diffs, so it is what it is. You know, just running a modified motor in an older platform that's not really designed for modified motors. I mean, you know, not that they're not designed. You just got to do a lot of different. You got to keep in mind, like I said before, don't just think you can throw your modified shit in some Traxxas and it's just everything's gonna be cool. You got to change a lot of shit. Or you will learn as you break shit and bend shit. I mean, I bent dog bones in this thing with a stock. That stalker in there has bent these dog bones. And if you want to see what the size, the width, that's what I like about this Mammoth too, is these are thicker than any I've seen. The drive shafts, the outer shafts, these are 4.5 millimeters. Standard, I measured like on Low Seas, Muggy, the Techno. Standard drive shafts are 3.5 millimeters. These are a millimeter thicker all the way around this thing. And they make these titanium. Which, for all of them, or like 100 and probably like 200 bucks. I might do that too. I mean, I'm just the guy. I like the shit. A true gearhead likes the materials like titanium, carbon fiber, graphite, aluminum, 7075, 7079, aircraft, all that shit. What do you think this center diff is made out of? 7075, aircraft, anodized aluminum. Top brake plate with bearings and the diff towers that you can barely see those that hold them up. Okay, that's why that thing was $200 for me to build it with the steel gear. So anyway, I just wanted to give you guys an update. So I'm done everything. I got to put it back together now, and we should be running by tomorrow. We should be running tomorrow. The Muggy should be in action. Then we're gonna run the Mugen, because the Mugen MBX 5R race buggy, because it is time in the Muggy Maniac's cycle of breaking in my modified RB motors, RB modified motors I should say. Next on deck is the R5 Team Edition Reds 2021 modified. And then we're going back to the 28.8 modified Rex. You know, and just continue the cycle. So anyway, that's what's going on. I'm getting her, you know, I went through this whole thing. Basically, I ended up from addressing one issue to completely, that's why I haven't ran it. I just said, you know what, it's been sitting almost a month, and I needed to just tear it apart. And since I was getting in the diffs anyway, I just rebuilt the diffs, took all the arms apart, broke everything down, shocks, gearboxes, everything. Cleaned it, oiled it, lubed it, and she is, she's ready to roll. Stock 28.8. If you have a stock 28.8 Rex Legend, and you have a Truggy, Muggy, Buggy, or whatever, actually more of the Truggies and Muggies, I recommend on a Rex Legend the Dynamite Platinum 053 stock Rex Legends. Man, love this pipe. With this thing, with these tires, actually I might run these. Who knows, I might run these for shits and giggles. How about that? Let's just go full on classic Muggy tires. Let's put the Muggy back to its original form and get it brapping. They're just kind of heavy. I don't really like running them anymore. Burn up a lot more fuel. But they're fun to run. I mean, these things aren't, you know, I just don't want to run them too much because I want to keep the pins on them. There's still pins left on it. And I want to keep them. These are the originals, man. You can't get these no more. They don't make this platform, first of all. And you're good luck on finding any original Muggy tires. They're not easy to come by. So, again, make sure you find out whatever issue you have, troubleshoot it, get to the root of the problem, find out and ask yourself why it happened, and don't let it happen again. That's all. It's keeping it simple, keeping it basic. You know, I know what happened all the way down, and now it made sense. It went from me like, wow, I wonder how that came loose, or I wonder why this is binding in the front, to the whole issue. Okay, the front, obviously that part was broke. When it binded up, when one part of your drivetrain, front or rear, binds up, it affects everything, because remember, everything's all running together. So because of that binding in the front, it put extra stress on the rear, and for whatever reason, that side decided to break loose. Okay, and you know, that's why all that shit happened. So anyway, and a lot of that too, when I also, one quick note before I go, is that the the shimming, because it's wearing and getting, it's, you know, these the diff cups and everything are older, and all that load on it from a modified, you know, 28.8, I had to shim them all again, because when I turned the shimming, it was when you turned it, it felt really rough. And because of all that binding and that roughness, because it needed to be shimmed, if your motor's not shimmed right, you're gonna grind some gears and you're gonna fuck some shit up. Excuse my language again. But anyway, that's all I got, people. Muggy Maniac's gonna get back to wrenching. We will be running that. Hopefully tomorrow. I should be done tonight. Probably up late, because I gotta go through. I gotta make sure this thing is, you know, dialed and prepped and ready to run. So just the less issues that I have to deal with, if I have any. So I always gotta check my shit from the ground up, make sure it's ready to rock. Don't just throw fuel in it and fire it up, and you know, especially after it's been sitting a month. That's why I tore it all down. So anyway, we're gonna do some in the front. We're gonna run because these are bigger shocks. I'm gonna try 50-60. I didn't like I think I had 40-50 or something. So I'm gonna thicken up the rear. But anyway, that's all I got. Muggy Maniac is out, and for you people that have retired for the winter, just again remember, make sure you your shelf queens or shelf bitches, whatever you want to call them, make sure that your piston is bottom dead center. Alright people, peace, I'm out.